I first started meditating because I had some anxiety problems. I lost my parents as a teenager, and after that happened, which I won't go into great detail about right now, but after that happened, I got to where I was really anxious all the time. I had trouble going to where there were people. I had panic attacks. I had shaking, all the things that we associate with debilitating anxiety. And I saw a therapist, and I got on some medication, and it did not work out well for me. So ultimately, meditation was recommended to me, and I had never, I was 20 years old. I had never heard of meditation. I didn't know what to expect or anything, but I started looking into it at the therapist's recommendation, and I started getting books on the subject from the library, and that's really where my journey began. I learned how to do it, and I started kind of trying to practice by myself, and I have found that little meditations that I would do, I started doing it regularly. I started out doing it short meditations once a week, and I found that it helped my anxiety a little. I felt a little better, so I expanded my practice. I started doing it 3 times a week, and I felt even better, and it made my really awful anxiety really manageable. And so I started just reading books on the subject, everything I could find. I wanted to know more, and I started studying Buddhism then as well. And it was a few years later that I visited a local Buddhist temple called the Rimé Center, and a few years later, almost a decade later, I suppose, I was on my own for a long time, but I started going to the Rimé Center shortly after, I guess a couple years after my daughter was born, and I was practicing with the Buddhists there. And I ended up volunteering they have a children's program there, and I ended up volunteering to help in the children's program. And I did that so that my daughter could go to the Rimé Center with me. I guess she was, I think she was 3 or 4. And anyway, she started going with me. And after volunteering with that for a little bit, it happened that I became in charge of the children's program. It's not because I stepped forward, because I didn't step forward. It's really because everybody else stepped away. So I ended up being in charge, and that's where I really realized that I could teach. I was from teaching meditation to kids, and teaching stories about Buddhism and things too. But it's important because people think that kids can't meditate, and I don't think that's correct. I decided that I could get kids to meditate, so I started kind of teaching myself how to do that. And it ended up that my leadership of the children's program, which we call Dharma School, was really successful. And a lot of kids really liked it, and parents really liked it too. And so I thought, maybe there's something to this. Maybe I can be a teacher. So I went through the meditation instructor training at the Rimé Center, and I got certified, which people think is important. And a little bit later, I went to Zen monk training in the Five Mountain Zen Order, and I did that for a little bit, and that wasn't a good fit for me, so I left. But I got a lot of training there in how to teach people. And then I went through training in the Empty Cloud lineage, and that's where the bulk of my training has come. But it's from these diverse sources that I have become a meditation teacher, and the truth is, though, that it really all is centered in managing my own anxiety and the strategies I learned when I was in a position to teach meditation to kids, which I did for 4 years, which is really longer than anyone does it. So that's my story. Meditation helped me a lot. It also helped my kids a lot. I think it helps kids be more settled and focused on what they want to focus on, which is important. So I think meditation can help you. It has helped me a lot. That is all. Thank you.